Well, I know that this bit of news is a couple days old, but I still think it's very, very interesting to talk about. Lots of interesting points, lots of interesting things to discuss because unexpectedly, Microsoft is apparently revealing the next generation of Windows on June 24th. Now, for those of you not understand exactly, yeah, what's all the fuss? I mean, like, isn't it just a standard Windows release? You know, they do it every couple of years. It's not going to be that much different, right? Well, if you remember a couple of years ago, actually, quote unquote, they called Windows 10 the last version of Windows because Windows 10 is going to be really the last distinct version of Windows. If you buy into Windows 10, if you buy a copy, you're going to get lifetime updates. Updates are just going to come through on the start menu, and it's just going to update itself periodically. There's going to be rolling updates. So Windows 10 is going to consistently evolve itself throughout the months and years. Well, and all the updates too for Windows 10, before I forget, are marked Windows 10 updates. They're marked as updates for Windows 10, so it's always just an update to Windows 10, no matter if it's the creators update or a bunch of other updates. It's always billed as an update to Windows 10. Well, apparently, Microsoft is kind of walking back that promise that Windows 10 is going to be the last version of Windows 10. It's not going to be as a service. Windows 10 is not going to be the last distinct version of Windows you can buy. Well, it doesn't seem like it, at least, because they've stopped referring to this next update, which is separate from build, because normally, and it's already sus, because normally Windows 10 periodic updates arrive at build. They will talk about new Windows 10 updates at build, and this year they didn't, because it's what's next for Windows, and it already sounds like the next generation of Windows before they even verbally said out loud that it's going to be in the next generation of Windows. They've stopped using the Windows 10 name, so something happened at Microsoft. Something big has shifted in the strategy department. Now, if you remember that Windows 10X used to be a thing, even back in March 2021, that the UI updates for this next generation of Windows is billed as Windows 10. So even back on March 4th, 2021, which is exactly 3 short months ago, Microsoft is planning for this to be just a Windows 10 update. It's not going to be anything spectacular. In fact, it's a build of Windows 10. Ever since Windows 10, I think later parts of Windows 8, if you're part of the Insider program, basically it's near final. So you won't expect Microsoft and Redmond to change up the software quite a lot. But apparently this is not the case. The fluent design style, of course, there's a lot more skeuomorphic elements, a lot more textures, a lot more UI refreshers, less flat and a little more depth. And they're going to replace the 26-year-old Windows 95 icons with these brand new Windows 10 icons, or at least it used to be slated as Windows 10 icons. They're going to refresh the start menu, they're going to refresh the file explorer, built-in apps are all expected to be overhauled, basic things like buttons, controls, and sliders. But all of these things, right, Sun Valley, right, this is Sun Valley, this update. So, yeah, Windows, it's going to be a next generation of Windows. I don't think it's going to be called Windows 11 because it's not a nice round number. But it's going to be a next generation for sure. We just aren't sure what it's going to be called. And if you look at the graphic right here, the crossbar is missing. So is that a tease for the next Windows logo? We've had the current Windows logo, right? That's also used for Windows 10 since 2012 when it's debuted it with Windows 8 with the then new Metro interface that they renamed to Modern UI. So new system icons, end of Windows 95, new App Store. So if it's such a big event that they have to split it out into its own little keynote on June 24th, and they stopped referring to it as Windows 10. They stopped referring to Sun Valley as Windows 10. It's going to be the next generation of Windows. We could very well see the first major release, and it's going to be a distinct release. Microsoft not only they were going to do Windows 10 X too. They were going to do Windows 10 X, but now it's confirmed to be scrapped. So will no longer ship. So looks like the implementation on the Surface Duo would be the final implementation. So what I'm saying is there must be something happening between June 2nd, which is when this article was written, and March 4th that pushed Microsoft to go both, hey, we no longer want to ship Windows 10 X. We have no confidence now with dual screen devices. We don't think that they're going to ship, and I don't think Surface Duo has shipped an impressive amount of units, especially when it's $2,000 and looks like two iPad mini stapled together. It does not look good, and yeah, sure, it can bend back on its own like a Lenovo Yoga, but there isn't really that many use cases that exactly excite me as a customer. And so I think there's a lot of new in this originally Windows 10 update that Microsoft just went, let's just ship it as a brand new version of Windows. I think they're kind of missing out on a lot of revenue streams too, because otherwise they could have had a new release that they could charge customers for. I would think that they would try to retain like 100% compatibility with previous generation of Windows. Of course, Windows 10, which they offer for free to try to get people to update. So most people are now on Windows 10. Microsoft certainly want more people to stay on Windows 10, right? Or to be on Windows 10 if they couldn't afford this new version of Windows, if they do decide to charge for it. So I guess what I'm saying is it would be better if they built this on a foundation of Windows 10 so they could still release patches, right? They could like take something out of what would be this next generation of Windows, apply it to Windows 10, and make sure everyone gets the security updates and avoid fragmentation. So yeah, interesting. I'll get the memes ready for June 24th. But yeah, remains to be seen. So a lot of exciting software this summer for developers, for the end users who are a little more tech savvy and are early adopters. So yeah, fun.